My grandparents were born in the late 1800s, went through the worst of World War I, went through the Depression. My grandfather's shotgun, literally put food on the table. And maybe if you got an extra rabbit or two, you would give it to your neighbor. Back then, people helped people. I don't give to a building, I don't give to necessarily an organization, I give to people.
I call it investing for eternity, because it's not just so much what I could get right now in a spec home and I make $50,000 on that house. I invest $50,000 into Arch Ministries, and to be able to see a new church planner go out there and not have to work while he's trying to plant the church, and the excitement in his voice when he knows, listen, God's called me to do this and I'm going to go out and do it by faith.
Trust is something that's earned, but is destroyed in a second. As someone who's strategically minded, but also has the ability to determine fraud at the lowest levels, I sat down with the leadership of Arch for about 2.5 to 3 hours. And I ran my technology against them. I have looked at their ethics. I have tested their integrity. They have garnered my respect. And so I know that when I contribute to Arch, that the majority of that dollar is actually going to win souls or glorify God.
When Arch Ministries started, the idea of not only church planting, but also helping out these church plants and also expanding it to cover the whole country, that really I thought was exponentially the furtherance of the gospel.
It's kind of like ministering to the front lines. The most important people in a battle are the privates in the trenches, so to speak. That's a lot of what I feel that I'm supporting, is to strengthen their resolve to continue in the fight.
At this last Arch conference, we were down there and they were able to give to, I think it was 10 or 12 pastors, a special gift, specifically their need that they had at that time. And the broken spirits, it was amazing to see those gentlemen walk up there and see that God is taking care of them.
It is a significant challenge to start a church, to plant a church, let alone to continue to minister that church. That's where the real challenge is. Honestly, writing a check is a blessing.
It's just a joy of knowing that you did something that was right beyond anything that I did. It was something that the Holy Spirit of God was doing through me, and I had the capacity to be able to do that. That was a thrill of my life, really.
I do believe money invested into Arch Ministries is a much more effective, eternal purpose. You get 2,000 churches working together to plant other churches and seeing people saved every week. Most churches don't see people saved all year long in their church. And then the more I'm involved in Arch Ministries, I'm seeing it happen almost every week.
When you're contributing to Arch, you're funding an effort that's discipling. And so you will win that soul, and that person will then be discipled, and then they'll win somebody, then they'll win somebody. As a businessman, when I'm selling a business, I don't want to sell a business at a 3-time multiple when I can sell it at a 20-time multiple. That's why I'm going with Arch, is because I get more return on my investment eternally than I do by just writing a check.
We don't live for eternity, I don't think, until we get older and realize, well, what has my life meant and what have I done? But to have the capacity to really make a difference in the gospel, to really get to see that gospel multiplied 100 times over, is, I think, a fantastic opportunity.
I would recommend that anyone that's looking at investing into Arch, go ahead and come to the next January seminar down in Florida and just sit back and watch the 200 to 300 pastors that come and listen to their testimonies and listen to see what's happening with Arch Ministries across this country and throughout the world. And I'll just tell you that once they see that, they'll never have a problem writing that check.
Has it been worth it? Man, I'll tell you, I could sit here and tell you story after story of how God has blessed, and that's worth it all. Elon Musk is $240 billion. One person kept out of hell. How much is that? I mean, that's priceless.
Well, the reasons why I give to Arch and would encourage anybody else to give to Arch Ministries is because I believe in people giving to people. You know, people leading people to Christ. And so how better to do that than through Arch Ministries? I mean, to me, that's what it's about.